Everyone, and welcome to Ridgetop Dual Sport on another little adventure here. So I installed the Shinko Mobber tires on this little Honda Monkey of mine and wanted to go out and see how they do. One thing I've immediately noticed is they are not as good as for turning on the pavement as the stock tires, but obviously really heavy lug tires, that's going to be an issue. The other thing I've run into here is 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. So that's been a bit of a challenge getting up here. A little bit better because the last couple of days we were getting gusts in excess of 70 miles an hour. And it's not raining right now, so after a bunch of rain, I'm kind of happy. I'll take the 30 mile an hour winds. But the Shinko Mobbers, I wanted something a little bit more aggressive off-road, especially when my wife rides, something that can grip a little bit better. So got a pair of those, put them on. I think it was the most annoying thing I've ever done, at least as far as tires. I tell you, trying to mount 12-inch tires is a pain, but got them on with only one scratched place on the rear rim, I think, is where I scratched it. But yeah, we got it on there, so that's the important thing. I'm running about 17 to 18 pounds of air on them right now. So I just want to see how it would grip up here. We got a mixture of really rough rock and mud and gravel and everything else all the way up this mountain, and it climbs like crazy, so it'll be a good test. I know this mud is always very sticky and very slippery, so we'll see how it does. So far, so good, though. Woo! It is still slipping a bit. Yeah, everything in here is volcanic red clay, and it is a mess when it gets really, really wet. But so far today, it's in much better shape than I expected. So my next project, though, is going to be putting rear shocks on this also. It really needs a front shock upgrade, because honestly, that's probably the worst thing right now, is me constantly bottoming out the front shock. But I got the rear shocks for a fairly decent price, so I was going to put them on. Can't remember the brand, but I'll have a video on it. But I'm hoping that it'll really help with my bottoming out the rear. I'm about 190 pounds without gear, so the poor little monkey struggles. But you can see this is extremely rocky material in here, and honestly, I'm gripping it perfectly so far. I think the limitation, again, is the suspension and not the tires. And I'll pull over in a few minutes and show you guys the tires and how they look on here. I know there's been other reviews, but I haven't seen any that are going up really, really rough stuff. I've seen some on the Grom, but not on the Monkey. So I thought, well, let's go up this really rough road and see what happens. We're gonna go down and check out this little side trail. There's a really rough side that comes up on the other side of the creek here, so we'll go check that out, take a look, maybe see how much stuff's been shot up here recently. It seems like every shooter around dumps their garbage down here. It's kind of funny, this little creek road goes down through here, but everywhere you look at shotgun shells, glass, and other things. But it's nice and slick mud, so we'll see how these tires do. A little water in the creek. Figure I'm gonna get a really nice mix of terrain today. Kind of everything except for playa mud, which I have no desire to test these tires on that. Go see where this goes. We'll try this half-hearted single track here too. See how I do in the soft camber mud. Tell you, the stock tires would not have been able to do this. Whoops. But we ran out of power. But if I had the power, that grip was there. We're spinning out a little. But woo, listen to that wind. But oh, the Monkey, though, it's so much fun, it doesn't matter. You can kind of see how it's tearing it up in there. Yeah, the rain barely even soaked through the first few inches. Okay, well, let's try it again. Oh man, this is so much fun. Dumb fun. Oh. Okay, let's take a quick look at the Shinko Mobbers. This is the front. As you can see, definitely more lugged out than the stock. I mean, not even close. And in the rear is going to be the same situation. The only thing I didn't like about them is they're slightly smaller. I think, listen to that wind. They're slightly smaller than the stock, but I still think they look pretty good. And we'll do a full view of the bike here in a minute. But again, I mean, the lugs, especially on the rear, are incredible. And that's what I was feeling when we were on the pavement, when we were going into the turns. So far, for the first, 10 minutes of use, I kind of like them, actually. For what I wanted, they've been gripping in the mud here, the rocks and everything. I'm more limited by power than anything else. So we'll continue up this windy ride and see what else we can get. See what else we can find, what kind of terrain. I know there's a lot of rocks ahead of us. Probably some more mud also. But the forest is a-howling right now. Really crazy. Okay, well, we're going to do our first real hill climb with this thing today. And this hill is rough and steep. I just hope I have enough power. The Mobbers are gripping it so much better than the stock did, though. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, the Mobbers are perfect for that. Wow, no issues. Right up the gravel, mud, and the sand there, like it didn't even hesitate. So that was nice. Next we'll just continue up the main road and see what else we can find. Whoa! It's still, you get in the right mud though, it still wants to go sideways. Another little hill climb. Woo! Loose rock, loose rock. Go, 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 go. Oh, not enough power. Oh, come on. There's no way. Oh, well, we hit the monkey hill climb max. This is very steep though, so I'm not surprised. The T-Dub would have made it. Oh no. Woo. Well, 2 failed hill climbs. That's okay. Well, I did find the maximum they can climb, which is about a 45-degree angle. Had to get off the bike and walk it up. And then of course it wants to take off without like a bullet without me sitting on it. I was like, where are you going? But anyway, we'll continue up this very nasty road here. So, with very powerful winds in our face. See what we can find. Woo! Oh, slippery. Don't go over the cliff. So I'm assuming that if I geared down the monkey, maybe one tooth in the front, it would help me on that climbing. I've got a buddy that rides an XR80, old Honda, and that thing will climb anything pretty much. Might have to paddle it at times, but it doesn't seem to stall out. But this bike, unfortunately, even with a 125 engine in it, is not geared quite as tight as that little XR, because honestly, the top speed on it's 35. But it's a great little pit bike, fun. See, the rain did a increasingly nice job of paving it, but like I said, this is a great test for this bike. Very rough conditions. You can see it's getting through them fine. I'm not bottoming out or anything, just getting bounced around a bit. Woo! It is definitely doing it. Let's go see what's down here. Tin Toll Road, okay. Now this is a funny little lot, just real quick, that there's a big mine under this. So you build your house, got to be careful where you put it. Because right down over the edge here, with a tunnel going straight up underneath where the house is, that road right there, so right down there is a mine. And I don't know if we can go down this road. I've never tried. Let me see if we can get to the mine. As long as I can get this thing back up. Might have to walk it. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, well this is new to me, and I've been up here 100 times probably. Hopefully the monkey will climb this. A long walk otherwise. But these tires are doing great. This is super soft, loose mixture stuff with sort of like a mud layer and sand over the top of it. And it's doing fine. Yeah, no concerns. Oh, there's the mine. There we go. So it's down lower than I thought. So at least if you buy the lot, the mine's probably 100 foot below you, or 75 feet, somewhere in there. And it is completely collapsed. It's right here where all these bushes are. We're parked on the mine dump. But unfortunately, it seems to have pretty much collapsed. But that's okay. We don't need to fall in a mine today. Well, got up the mud on that one. Woo! Oh, it's doing great. We're actually doing it. So I had to get a little momentum going. Oh yeah, no problem. Oh yeah, I climbed right up. These tires have amazing grip. Like I said, it all comes down to the limitations of the power on the monkey. Oh, mud. Heavy mud. And we're getting right through it. Oh yeah. I'm kind of curious to see how much they're packing up though. Well, you know what? Not much. It's throwing most of it off. So that's good. Oh yeah. Look at our fly up this. It's actually doing really good though. Let's keep the momentum. Yeehaw! And there we are, 6,000 feet and climbing. I won't be going over to Virginia City today though, just with this wind. I can't get enough speed to safely get over there and back without taking some really, really bad off-road tracks. I wanted to do a video of me taking the old tires off, putting these new ones on, but honestly, it was a couple hours of sheer anger until I figured out what I was doing wrong. It was funny, the first tire took me forever, and I don't even want to talk about the language I was using. The front tire took me less than half an hour. I mean, maybe even less, pretty darn quick. It's just, you got to take extremely small bites on these. I mean, like an inch at a time. And have to use a rim holder or lock or whatever they call it that holds the tire in place while you're changing them out, so it's not coming off on the opposite side you're trying to pry. And I really needed two of them. I know Motion Pro makes some. That's the one I was using, but really should have had two because it was just a nightmare. The tires weren't stretching at all. I laid them out in the sun. It was about 60 degrees, and the rubber felt warm to the touch, but I was definitely doing it wrong too. I was trying to do it like I would a 21 or an 18, and that was a big mistake. Once I figured it out though, it was no big deal at all. Everything from here is private property, but we get an unbelievable view right here. Yeah, so we won't go up there. But we'll get a view with the monkey. Look at that. Sun's in our face, of course. There's a very hazy and snowy and blinded by sun view. This house here, I've always loved it. It is incredible, right on the cliff. But boy, the wind blows through here. They have power. I'm not sure if they have wells or water. That's the only other thing up here. Some of these you have to source your own water. I don't know. I know the wells can be extremely deep. Well, I was talking about, can they source their own water or not? Well, here's my answer to that. Potable water delivery. Yeah, definitely no wells on this side. See, potable water. Yeah, kind of a disadvantage of living on the top of a rock. The winds on the top of the mountain up here have got to be blowing 50 miles an hour into my face here. The little monkey keeps getting blowing it, slowing it down. But boy, look at these tires. Oh man, they're doing great. They really are. It's going right over all this stuff. Trying to get a little bit more of the view of the ground. Good tires. So I think exactly what I needed for the kind of stuff I like to do. And also make my wife more secure on the fire roads and things we ride. So the biggest limitation I've run into today is definitely power. Everything else has done great. I'm chugging right along here. Oops, somebody lost something. But you can see we're going through these horrible rocks. Well, if anybody needs some underwear. Anyhow, we're going right through this stuff. Gripping so much better than I did before. The suspension's a little limiting factor too, I mean, honestly. It's every so often I'm thumping the front suspension especially pretty hard. Now the other thing is there is no skid plate on this. I'm not going to put one on it either because it blocks too much airflow to the engine. But you got to be really careful when you're climbing over rocks and stuff like I'm doing right now. If you screwed it up, you could really take out the exhaust or the manifold under there. Or the engine itself, I guess, if you're really unlucky. Go down this really rough stuff, see how we do here. Yeah, it just goes right through it. Guess I could have gone through the really loose rough stuff too, but I think for what we're doing, this is great. You know, the idea is just to figure out what can a monkey do when you don't want to take a dual sport or a dirt bike out. Well, I guess technically this is a dual sport, but I'm talking about one with more than 8 horsepower. So, my final opinion on after this short little ride of using the Mobbers for the first time is they're pretty much the best option you're going to find for any off-road on the Monkey or a Grom. You know, the grip here is just so much better than the stock. And honestly, the stock, for the wide-spaced lugs that it's got, actually did pretty good overall. But I mean, it slid around a lot. It could dump really easy in the sand. I have not tested these in the sand today because everything is mud, but I think in general, the Mobbers are your best go. I mean, there's just not a lot of options out there. You do a Google search and it's like almost nothing. You know, you got Mobbers. I think the Shinko, or not Shinko, one of the other companies made big blocks or something like that, I guess. And then IRC makes the Tractionator, but they're not sold over here. And to bring them in from Thailand or Japan right now is hundreds of dollars a tire, and I refuse to do that. There's just no point. The nice thing about the Tractionators is they're the same size as stock, but you know, when you go with the Mobbers, you're losing a little bit of volume on these for sure, and that's kind of a shame. I was really hoping a company would step up and you know, provide something with a little bit more closer to stock size, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately, at least for the time being. So I think I'm very happy with these. They just went over rock, mud, pine needles, I mean, you name it, and it climbed no problem, came down no problem, just limited by power. So anyway, I would say get them if you want to do more off-road than on-road. But honestly, the stock, if you're doing 70% on-road, 30% on light trails and stuff, they're perfect. I mean, they'll work fine. There's no need to upgrade. So everybody, thank you so much for joining me on Ridgetop Dual Sport. I hope you all have a very good Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. But thanks again for joining me on this little outing.